Okay, it's Wednesday. We're approaching about 10 a.m. Thank you for joining me. I'm Tom Novak with Novak Weather, and the reason why I'm putting this video together is because I'm getting several comments about what happened to the snowstorm that was supposed to strike much of southern Minnesota and western Wisconsin. Why is it a bust? Let's get into it. Hey, here's your satellite loop, and take a look. This is a beautiful looking storm. Here it is. It's actually located over northern Missouri now, and it's going to be moving in this direction towards Chicago. But look at the beautiful wrapping of the clouds on the infrared satellite loop, and these clouds are actually intensifying. The cloud tops are cooling, so there's quite a bit of precipitation over northwestern Iowa and approaching southern Minnesota. So it's not as though this storm system is not taking place. It is, okay? But again, I'm going to show you why it's a bust for many of us. Look at radar. Hey, if you were to look at radar right now, and if you're in Pine Island, Minnesota, Owatonna, Rochester, you're wondering what's going on because it looks like it's snowing on radar. This is virga. Virga is precipitation that doesn't hit the ground. It's falling through the sky and then it's drying up. That is critical. That's one of the big reasons why this storm is a bust from right around Owatonna and Red Wing on north, because dry air is chewing away at this precipitation shield as it tries and attempts to move north into southern Minnesota, and that's going to produce a very sharp snow gradient the way it appears somewhere right in this area, right across the Rochester metro the way it appears. But yes, that dry air is killing this storm system, at least on the northern edge of it, and that is one of the big reasons why we are having a tough time getting snow and why many of us are disappointed today. Okay, well, here's another reason why the storm busted, because we were predicting significant snow for a good chunk of southern Minnesota way back on Sunday and Monday, right? But we also had a little bit of a caveat, and we said, listen, we need the storm's energy to come ashore. Well, was the European computer model guidance as of Sunday, okay? And we were stressing that we needed the storm's energy to come ashore the west coast on Monday. And watch what happened. I'm going to put this into motion, and here comes the energy. This is it right here. It started to come ashore on Monday, and it fully came ashore. You can see it right here. The storm's energy fully came ashore on Monday evening. That's when short-term guidances were able to measure the storm better, because it had more data points to use on land than out in the ocean. Okay, so as that storm's energy comes on land, it is able to gobble up more data, and then we get a much better idea on what's going to happen with the storm. That's why on Monday night, I started sounding the alarming bells for a bust for a good chunk of southern Minnesota and western Wisconsin. And it's all because we needed that energy to come ashore and to utilize all those data points that are on land and in the air over the United States. But that's a big reason. So whenever we start predicting storms, we always want the storm's energy to come ashore the west coast before we get too high of confidence, or before we get high confidence in the outcome of a storm system. So hopefully that makes sense to you. Now, because of that, this is now what we've got today. This is the latest NAM 3K computer model guidance, and look at this sharp, razor sharp snow gradient that's likely going to set up right over the Rochester metro, right over Olmsted County. And here's I-90 right down here. This is I-90 right here. So anywhere south of I-90, along or south of I-90, likely will get still a healthy snow yet today. But once you start going north of the I-90 corridor in southeastern Minnesota, snow totals will drop off rapidly to where towns such as Owatonna and Red Wing and Pine Island and Zumbrota may hardly even get a flake out of this storm. Meanwhile, Rochester gets 2 to 5 inches of snow, 2 on the north side, 5 on the south side. And then as you get down into areas of such as Fillmore County, maybe measuring snow in excess of 7 to 8 inches. So Very tricky forecast, difficult for forecasters to latch onto just because of the sharp snow gradients and the dry air that is in place. And by the way, when we talk about dry air, I did want to show you one thing real quick. And I know this is getting a bit technical, but this is what we call a sounding in the atmosphere. This sounding is over the Twin Cities metro, okay? And when we talk about dry air, this is what we are talking about. This green area is moisture in the atmosphere, and the red is temperature in the atmosphere. And look at the gap between the moisture in the atmosphere and the temperature at about 5 to 10,000 feet in the atmosphere above the Twin Cities. This is a dry slot. And this is the reason why the precipitation gets chewed up as it tries to move north towards the Twin Cities metros because of this dry air. Now, just real quick, let's look at down in Albert Lea, and we'll take a look at the moisture down there. Look, you don't get that gap between the green and the red lines on this sounding. So a lot more moisture in the lower layers of the atmosphere over extreme southern Minnesota than up in the Twin Cities. Hence, the reason why we are dealing with some dry conditions in the Twin Cities on south to near Rochester. Okay, here's your extended forecast, just real quick. There's the snow over extreme southeastern Minnesota today. And then we've got our eyes focused on another system, tricky one for later Saturday into Sunday morning. I think it's mostly going to be a mix or rain in southern Minnesota, but northern Minnesota could easily pick up several inches of snow, along with northern Wisconsin later Saturday night and into Sunday morning. Temperatures for the most part will be near or just above average. So all in all, not bad. And yeah, more snow season starting to come to an end. Take care, everyone.